Okay, I'm standing just past the Snowy Range Academy School, looking sort of northeast at a little bluff there. You can see the top is red and then it changes color down from that. I'm just going to pan around for a minute, slightly turning to the east so you can see the slope. We're looking at more outcrop there. That's actually an abandoned quarry. Some buildings. The backside of the Snowy Range Academy School, right over there. If I start at the bluff again and pan to the west, you can see the housing development, all of this great open space that you'll be mapping. You can start to see the Jacoby Ridge coming into view and the front side of that apartment complex. Okay, so I walked a little ways down this road here toward the bluff where I see the color differences. Looking at it, there's a lot of vegetation on there, but I'll probably try to walk that whole thing, see if I can find contact. I'm suspecting that the color difference down that I see further down is actually the contact between the Satanka and the Casper formation, but it's worth checking it out. And then just noticing hills to the east a little bit with other rocks. I think I'll save that for another day, but we'll go check out that outcrop right ahead of us. Just looking again a little further along the ridge by that telephone pole, I'm noticing, in addition to the soil there being red, I think I'm seeing some actual rock up there. Maybe an outcrop worth checking out. Okay, so I'm definitely seeing rocks along that ridge line. We're getting closer to the outcrop we really want to look at. Just turn around so you can see these other rocks. Don't spend too much time on these right now. That will come later, but think about what they might be, what formation they might be part of, or are they their own thing? Just some think questions for the future. Okay, well, we're pretty much here. Looking at these rocks. Give you a good slow view of the outcrop here. And then we'll walk in just a little closer so you can check it out. Nice and close. One thing you'll notice, the ground here, it's often important to pay attention to what you're walking on. There's an awful lot of sand here, and sandy soil. It's slightly reddish, but pretty sandy. And more so as we go up the hill to the exposure. And as I'm walking here, notice there's some fragments of red siltstone. They're just loose. This is float. And then pay attention to how the color of the soil changes. Getting a little less red by now, although we still see some chunks of red siltstone. It's definitely less red and very sandy over here. You can just feel that sand. Maybe you can even see it. You know, just total sand right there. Okay, here we are at this outcrop. I'll pan pretty slow so you can see some of what's going on here. Notice those lines, those patterns in the rock right there. Think about what might have caused those. And especially when you're looking at that, where's the bedding plane? Where's the bedding surface? Again, looking down, looking at more of this outcrop. Take a closer look at the rock here. Look at all that. Those patterns, weathering patterns. Bend down here, take a look at some of these chunks. Look at how thin that is. That bedding there, super thin, huh? Pick up some of this rock. It just breaks in your hand. That you could just crumble it. We'll take a closer look here. Those funny lines. And then look how they change the pattern up there toward the top. So we have a change in the bedding style. So primary structures to describe right over here. Definitely some of that. Color. I think the red on the rock is on the surface. Does it go deeper? And what's that on the top? Is that the same formation or different? I'm just going to walk along here. I'm going uphill slightly, so I'm heading toward the red stuff. And we'll just walk along here. There's a ton of float down. It looks like that red stuff is just falling down. Maybe the white isn't robust enough. It was pretty easily broken in my hand here. These. Again, lots of sand. Notice how the bedding is changing. Definitely looks different as we get to the top. I'm going to check these rocks out. Look down on those bedding surfaces. So think about whether you would call this thickly or thinly bedded. Same thing with this stuff up here. This red material. Looks a little harder. And that pavement up the top here. So these surfaces right there, that's a bedding surface right there. So when we get to learning how to make strike and dip measurements, that might be a good spot. Take a look at some of the structures there. Now you're getting a top view. I sort of walked up and looking back at Laramie. It's just another quick view from the top. I'll pan around a little so you can get a view from to the east just a little, looking down, look down the other way there, and up to the ridge. So I'm not standing quite at the top of the ridge. Here's another view, just a quick look-see. Man, I'm walking along the bedding surfaces, and this is sort of a cool feature I discovered. Set my bag down for scale there. Look at that. From a couple different angles. I think we're seeing there. And maybe that is telling us something about our environment. Again, we're looking down on a bedding surface. Here's some of the top layer. Looking at a slightly different angle. You can see the buildings in the background, but look at that bedding there. Wow. Neat little structures too in some of those layers. You can see from the side, those are all in place. So that's pretty good. Here's more of these structures, but they're in a chunk that's sort of big and has fallen off, so it's not in place. But again, more of these worth noting that they exist at this outcrop.